TNA like is announcing its comeback from Impact Wrestling to TNA Wrestling. What's your thought on that? Like, because you were a TNA original.
I have tried to meet with Scott D'Amore, who is no longer. So I wondered about that. I sent a message to a colleague that I met recently at Real Screen, which is the conference for unscripted TV. And I bumped into this guy. He's like, I'm friends with this guy named Len, blah, blah. He owns Anthem. And I'm like, I said, could you please put in a message to Len that Goldy, the OG TNA cast member, would really love to come back. And, I know that he's mentioned something to him. I've sent him an email. I don't think he's read it because I can see if he's read it or not, and he hasn't. It's like, I would love to come back, like with a vengeance. I would love to be a part of Billy's organization. We've talked for weeks, for months, it's just things have to make sense. The spot has to make sense. But I would love a reason to get, I'm in good shape now, but you can't see there's like a poster, like that ab cuts, like it's like skewed because it's that.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I've seen that photo on Facebook. I've seen.
I know I can still be in and I'm in decent shape, but I'd like an excuse to be paid to be like in really good shape. It's way easier when you're getting a paycheck to not eat those donuts and put down the pizza. But I would love to come back, be in the best shape that I've ever been in, be as hot and sexy as I can, representing chicks over 40 or women in general. It doesn't need to be that, but it's like, you do have a life after 40. Absolutely. And I would love to represent that and be the biggest heel that ever walked the planet. And I know I've had my time to reflect and know the things that I need to work on. And then I know that there's things that I don't know, but I need to work on, and that will reveal themselves. I would love to come back and just with a vengeance. And
would you want to wrestle?
I wouldn't want to wrestle. Nope, not at all. I never really did. And especially more than ever, hearing the pain that people are in physically, like it's not worth it. Like you are forgotten and cast aside, no different than a vet coming back from war. Like no different than how our country just turns its back on our veterans and lets them just rot homeless in the streets. It's the same thing for wrestlers. Like they're hot when they're hot, and then nobody gives a flying fuck about them when they're like Wolfie D. He was just on my podcast, and he didn't talk about it, but I guess he posted, so it's okay to say, like hip surgeries, hip replacements, knee replacements, all this stuff, broken backs, broken necks. It's like, that's not for me, but it is for some people, and so be it. Float your boat, walk your walk, but I can come back and I can support that, and I can be a really good glue, and I can help with storylines, and I'm great on the mic. Not good, I'm great on the mic.
Absolutely.
Mantel has to say about how shitty I am or whatever. God, it's such a kick out of that guy, just like always trashing me. Maybe he wants to have sex with me. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it's like a schoolboy crush. Maybe Dutch is like a schoolboy, like has this like crush on Goldilocks.
Yeah, maybe because you just like always seem to find a time to like bash me, So, and I don't have the time to bash anybody, nor do I. So I wonder about that when like little boys in the schoolyard were like mean to you because they really had a crush and they didn't know how to like channel their sexual frustrations. Dutch, is that you?
When did it start with you and Dutch? Like when did he start going?
That long ago, like just like these horrible videos, like just the stuff that he'd say about me. It's like, wow. What's interesting is like even with what he's said about me, I thought he did a really good job at TNA. I thought he was somebody that people could go to and get good perspective and work their angles out and get advice and wisdom. Like I have nothing bad to say about the guy at all. Like, whatever. It's just, I think it's just, I appreciate his negativity because there has to be negativity in the world. There has to be despair. Otherwise it would just be a euphoria and there would be no balance and nothing interesting. So, there has to be bad or there's good. And that's real. Yin and yang, you know how it works.
But you know what? Like, I feel like even then, like that, the negativity, like that sparks so much. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like if you can do something outrageous or say something that's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And it's saying something negative about someone else online, it gets that attention and gets people talking. So, you know what I mean? Like maybe you should just be saying to him, you're welcome for the clout.
Yeah, I'm grateful and appreciative of it. I honestly am. And there are some things that I look back in my career, like some acting spots that I did, or some this or that, music stuff or live stuff, and I cringe and I just think, oh God, that's absolutely dreadful. It is cringeworthy. It is awful. Like I wasn't on my game. I didn't know what I was doing. Yuck ish. I'm embarrassed of it because it is what it is, and it's a stepping stone, and you grow. But like I can honestly say 1,000% when I look back at any if I were to pull up any spot from NWA TNA, any spot from TNA wrestling, I was always really funny and put out and disgusted and disturbed, and it was real and it was sincere and it's funny. Like if you don't think a lot of the bits with the Dups are funny, where I'm just so genuinely disgusted by those guys and everybody else, I feel like backstage interviewers, it's just a carbon copy. It's the same thing over and over. It's some girl with her tits hanging out in fear, and I was just like, what? Like, huh? What? Like
it was almost like you presented like you weren't let in on the secret, almost. Does that make sense? Like that was that.
A lot of times I wasn't. A lot of times it was Goldy, go out to the ring, go interview somebody. Who is it? I will just go out there. But who is it? Who am I interviewing? Just go out there. And then, ladies and gentlemen, and then somebody would go, you're interviewing Kid Rock. Kid Rock! Or, I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. So you can't, I think I did a damn great job being thrown to the animals and flying solo. And then I didn't know the terminology, and I'd get it all memorized, and I'd sit backstage with my papers, and I'd get this tag team champion, blah, blah, and I'd get it all. And then they'd change it all like right before I go out. And it was live. It was live TV. You tell me how you do on live TV.
I wouldn't do as well as what you. I'd freeze up.
I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just saying it was live TV, and all the people criticizing me were not on live TV. And when they are on live TV, some of the stuff was a little cringy. It felt like they were self-serving, and it felt like they were there for their own ego. It's like, okay, this guy's in the I won't say any names. There's been certain people in the business where you're just like, the only reason you're on camera is completely for your own ego. It doesn't even make sense with the storyline, bro, babe. It does not make sense. Yeah. Like you're really there to get your own rocks off, to say, look what I did, look what I can do. And
try to pop the boys in the back.
I have no comments. I'm just saying.
Well, but you know what? Like it's like I saw recently, and I don't want to quote it word for word, but I think it was a segment with you and AJ Styles, and it was like probably 2003, and it was like he said something, and it was like I said, I can't remember, but it was something like pretty on the vulgar side of things. But like that was kind of like people would, like these days, like if you said that to, like if a guy said that to a woman in these days, he would be like ended, right? But back then that was kind of like, that's funny.
But you know,
how did you take it?
I'm not going to come back 20 years from now and go, sexual harassment. Like, I knew what I signed up for. You want to be in the world of pro wrestling? Here it is. No rules, no bars hold. Granted, if I was raped or somebody molested me or did something like that, different story. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, you know what you signed up for.
So you had no idea about that, what that was going to said? Like,
no, it just came out, and then you just reacted how you reacted. But again, I'm a professional in professional wrestling. It's not that a day at the church camp. And, you know, for all the stuff that's going on right now, I'm sorry that anybody ever is hurt. I'm sorry that anybody has a horrible experience. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. I'm not trying to sound pious or on my soapbox, but I don't take our conversation before this even started. Like, I'm an advocate for clean living. I don't take any drugs. I sure as fuck am not going to take a drug because somebody puts it out in front of me and says, hey, you should try this. You know what? Try cat shit. Try eating that. Oh, why? You don't want to do that? Okay, well, I don't want to take your drugs. So somebody would come up to me and say, do you want a soma? It'll knock the edge off. The edge off of fucking what? I'm not a wrestler. I don't have bumps and bruises. I don't have broken bones. I'm an interviewer and an entertainer and a singer and an artist. I don't need to take any drugs to take the edge off. And everybody knew. They asked me once or twice, hey, no, I'm good, thanks. You do you, but I don't do that. So stand your ground. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. That saying couldn't be more true. So all the bullshit in professional wrestling, I never experienced any of it because I set my ground and my standards and said, I'm not into it. I'll come out with you all. We'll have a great time. We'll do funny shit. It'll be epic. I'll have a nice steak dinner at the ale house in Orlando with everybody. But then when it's time to go do coke and blow and all the pills and all the shit, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go hang out with all the guys like CM Punk and a bunch of the guys that would literally go find a gym or go back to the hotel and work out. They did not go to all of the after parties in so-and-so's room and this and that, where everybody did lines of blow and all their shit. And it reflects that. You can look at them and say, they obviously have had some pretty clean living because they look amazing. They're 40, 50 years old. Their bodies are in great shape, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can see it. And then you can see the ones that are just tired and shot. And then you see them with the rest in peace and they haven't even hit 50 and they're dead. Because your heart can't take somas and pills and cocaine and all the alcohol and staying up all night and all that. It just